Hi guys, Everyday Knife Guy here, and I want to kick off a new series with you. It's going to be paracord tutorials and basically on survival bracelet making. So in the spirit of the simple paracord playlist, I'm going to try and make some quite concise and easy to follow tutorials, and just making some bracelet designs that I think are pretty cool, and yeah, hopefully pretty easy for you to replicate. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first one we're going to do is this, which is the shark's jawbone style, or it's also known as the Piranha weave. And basically the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to show you a finished bracelet, and you can see I have a jig set up here. I'm going to show you the weave on that and give you a few tips on it, and then once you've seen the stitch a few times, it's going to show you how I finished off the bracelet, and that way hopefully I can keep the videos to around 5 minutes or less. This one might be slightly longer because of the intro, of course, but that's what we're going to aim for. So put the finished bracelet there just now. A few tools might be useful. Knife obviously for cutting the cord, a pair of needle nose pliers for pulling through any difficult parts of the weave, lighter for singeing cord and melting ends, and I just use an old kitchen knife, but any piece of old metal for tamping down the melted ends would be good. So saves burning your fingers. So those are a few things you may need. I have a jig set up here. It's not essential. You can quite easily do this freehand as well, but I'm going to be using this, and I have this set about 8.5 inches, which is set for my wrist size, and that's a pretty typical size for a guy's wrist, I imagine. And usually I will be using 10 feet of paracord in total, and a lot of these of course are 2 colors, so 5 foot of each. And yeah, that's usually allows a little bit of excess for making a bracelet of this size. You just need to adjust the length of the cord depending on the size you want to make, but it's always better to have a little bit extra left at the end. It'd be too short, of course, and run out when you're half an inch from the end. So yeah, so that's basically it. We're just going to go ahead and get started here, and the first thing we want to do, of course, is join our 2 cords. Now I do have a tutorial on this on my simple paracord playlist, but I'll probably just show doing this on each video, so that if you haven't seen that other one, you know what to do. So we're just going to take the lighter here and get the ends of our cord melted to the point that they're starting to bubble up. Okay, once those are nice and bubbly, we're just going to take them and press them together. Quick lick of the fingers to prevent any burns. Do be careful when you're doing this, it is pretty hot. You have just melted some nylon or polyester material, so it's fairly stingy. And yeah, there we go, 2 cords are joined. So the first thing we want to do is create a lark's head or hitch knot on the buckle nearest you. It's always easier to weave back towards yourself, so we'll start at this end. We're just going to make a loop like that in the cord and feed that up through the buckle. I'm going to try and not rush this, but I do want to keep the videos quite short so you don't get bored sitting there watching me weaving away for 10 minutes. And if you do think I'm rushing too much or there's not enough information being given, just let me know in the comments and I'll adjust as appropriate. Okay, so I'm going to pull that through. Now you want the join between your cords to be maybe an inch or 2 away from your actual hitch knot here, just so it's concealed within the bracelet. Now we're going to take our 2 other ends of our cord and we're going to go down through the top buckle. We're just using the standard small curved paracord buckles here, but you can use any type of hitch that you want, or any type of joint that you want rather, whether it's a shackle or you can just do it manually with knots, of course. We can go into that in a later tutorial. So we have our 2 lengths of cord. I'm just going to move these tools out of the way a little bit. Okay, so as you can see in this design, we have kind of a main body color, which would be the grey, and then we have the highlight or flash of the orange. So in this situation, the dark green is going to represent the grey and the bright green is the orange, so I'm just going to refer to them as light cord, dark cord. So you always want to start with your light cord, and we're just going to find the end of that, and we're going to go down through between the core strands, like so. Just pull that off to the side. And then you're going to take your dark cord and we're going to go down between the core strands with it as well, and we're going to make sure that we're nearer to ourselves than the first green strand put across. So nearer you, we go down through, and then we're going to take the end of the cord and come up through this loop that we just made with the first cord. Okay, so I'm going to show you the stitch a few times. It's a fairly simple bracelet to make. There is only one type of stitch, there's nothing alternating, so we're just going to snug that up there. Now I know this is the correct length for my wrist, but obviously if you're a little unsure, this is a great time to unsnap the buckles. Just try it on and make sure it's going to work before you go any further, because you don't want to get to the end and then realize you're half an inch short. That just sucks. So there we have it. And so we're always starting with our bright cord, so we're going to start from the right this time. Feed that down between the core strands, pull it through. Just make sure you leave yourself a bit of a loop on the side you started from. Then we're going to take our dart cord, go down between the core strands below or nearer you than the bright cord, and then before we complete that pull through, we're going to take this end, come up through that loop and pull through. Okay, and it really is simple as that. So I'm going to just do a couple more. So down through the middle, take our dart cord down through the middle, up through the loop. Now depending on the bracelet style, I'm going to have to do more or less of these stitches just to start the pattern off so you can actually see it forming. But obviously it's always good to do enough so you can actually see what should be in front of you if you are following along. So you can see already we have the darker jawbone, if you like, with the bright teeth. And just probably do one more stitch here. And there we go, you can see that forming there. I'm going to show you this one that we made earlier again. So where are we? Yeah. So you can see they're basically identical, the bright colour on the left, dark one on the right, and we have the highlight of the orange. And that's what it's going to look like when you're done. So when you get down to the end here, it'll be a little tricky getting the last few stitches in. That's where it's quite useful to have the needle nose pliers. Just be able to poke those through and pull through your last few cords. And then when it comes to ending it, you should have you know, the bright cord coming out the bottom. So I just snipped that off and singed it down. And I had the dark cord coming out this side, snipped that off and singed it there, and that basically locks it all together and you know, stops it coming undone, keeps it all in place. And there's a finished bracelet. So this video was a little bit longer than I would like most of these to be, but as I say, it did have an intro on it, so I'm going to be doing quite a few of these in the near future, and hopefully you enjoy them. If you have any comments or feedback or whatever, just leave it in the comments section. Always happy to read that, and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.